The Nightbeat starts right now.
Tonight, the Spurs back home at the Alamo Dome.
More than 68,000 fans packing the stands tonight, celebrating a special anniversary.
It's about time, 50 years and counting.
Crowd showed up early, walking the halls in those retro Spurs colors. Others siding with the Golden State Warriors.
Parking was sold out, some choosing to wait in this line before they could be bussed to the big game. Tonight we're courtside, capturing the moments you don't want to miss.
Go, Spurs, go!
And you could feel the energy in the air as more than 68,323 to be exact, descended on the Alamo Dome. Spurs fans recounting old memories and making new ones for this 50th anniversary celebration.
So today's big game also highlighted traffic concerns. You know, we really didn't see much before the game, but let's see if it's a different story afterwards. You see all that backup right there, all those lights?
Yeah, and look on the access road as well. Very backed up as people are leaving the dome. After the game, they actually had a fireworks display, so people are just now getting on the road to head home.
Yeah, and all this right here, we're getting a look at Sky 12. Yeah, RJ Marquez is there at the Alamo Dome, however, and he was able to visit with fans.
Yeah, RJ, unfortunately, the game didn't go so well, but it seemed like Spurs fans were still having a blast tonight.
Yeah, Steve and Stefania, it was an absolute party here from start to finish. Started today at the Fan Fiesta area out at the H-E-B Plaza, and fans were lined up about an hour before the doors even opened just to get inside the Alamo Dome for this historic return for this franchise. And as you guys mentioned, of course, the outcome of the game, not what fans wanted to see here, but this was more about the memories, the nostalgia of being back at the Alamo Dome. And of course, tens of thousands of people packed the dome here. You guys mentioned a record-breaking NBA crowd out here tonight. So let's hear some more sights and sounds from the Silver and Black faithful.
Go, Spurs, go! Go, Spurs, go!
Go, Spurs, go! They came loud, early, and ready to celebrate history.
We grew up watching games here at the Alamo Dome, and then just to come back here and relive the moment, it's awesome.
Spurs fans of all ages reliving the glory days of the past.
Sean Elliott's shot has to be, and then the championship, 99 championship gathering we had here. It was great.
For many of the Spurs fans, it was their first home game ever at the Dome.
Go Bear, go on, Red! This will be my first time having a Spurs game in the Alamo Dome, so I'm very excited. I can't wait.
For the red hearts we watched.
And for others, another chance to watch the Spurs at the place they called home for a decade.
To live long enough to see this happen, 50 years, and it's amazing how 50 years go by like that.
And to make new memories with thousands of fans, friends, and family.
So I have every memory. My dad right here, he took me to every Spurs game.
One in a lifetime experience, so I'm very excited. I never witnessed it, so tonight is the night I witnessed it, so I'm very excited about that.
You were expecting to say that? Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, Steve and Stephanie, and that was just a taste of what we saw here tonight. And what I loved was just speaking to the fans from different generations. A lot of these fans here saying that they weren't even born when the Spurs played here at the Alamo Dome, but they heard their relatives or their parents talk about those amazing memories. And throughout the night, fans here got to relive a lot of those memories here, from the Memorial Day Miracle to David Robinson coming out on the floor to announce that record crowd tonight. It was definitely a party atmosphere out here at the Alamo Dome. Again, not the outcome that the Spurs fans wanted, but this whole year, this season, 50 years in San Antonio has just been a celebration of the Silver and Black in the Alamo City, and tonight was a little bit of a culmination of that. Stephen, Stefania, back to you guys.
Yeah, it definitely was, and you have to say the Spurs fans showed up.
Oh, big
San Antonio
time.
showed up.
Big time.
Yeah. Thank you, RJ. You know, tonight was a celebration of the Spurs history, the great players, the organization, the championships, but tonight was also about the fans. Fans I got to say hi to tonight, like Freddie Ordonez. Freddie went to the first Spurs game in 1973 at Hemisphere Arena after they moved from Dallas. The Chaparrals became the Spurs. He remembers that night like yesterday.
You remember when the Spurs came to San Antonio?
Yes, sir. In October '73, I was a sophomore at Edgewood High School, and when I heard them come into town, the first game we went, me and my neighbor went. It cost $5. sit up at the nosebleed section and watch the game with that pole right in the middle at the Hemisphere Arena, and everything was awesome. The first game, the excitement of the fans, coming from Dallas and having over 6,000 fans that first game, it was awesome.
Freddie served in the military, is now an usher for the Spurs. Look at his special tie tonight. He says he is still speechless when he sees the great players and the trophies. He tells me he is a Spurs fan por vida.
Por vida.
Tonight was a celebration of fans like Freddie.
Love that. Now, tonight's event already broke NBA records for attendance at the Alamodome, but Alamodome officials have also tracked some other major events there. Now, the top 3 events have an attendance of more than 70,000 people. So let's walk you through those. A performance by George Strait brought in just under 71,000 people. That was in 2013. And then evangelist Billy Graham brought in more than 74,000 people in 1997. And in 2014, the San Antonio Spurs championship celebration topped that with more than 76,000 people. The Spurs nation is strong. So now let's get another look inside the Alamodome after tonight's game. Very different. Very, very different. Our Greg Simmons is there courtside. He's got team coverage with our David Sears, and they're going to continue our coverage coming up just a little later on in sports.
That's the calm after the storm.
Yeah.
Right there. Now to today's breaking news. Some of the groups of asylum seekers we saw in El Paso are traveling through San Antonio to get to their sponsors. With an increase in migrants seeking transportation, San Antonio is now partnering with the city of Austin to help. We've shown you the Migrant Resource Center here in San Antonio. Migrants will need to pre-book flights out of Austin's airport before leaving San Antonio Center. Between 40 and 120 asylum seekers are expected to be shuttled to Austin on a daily basis. The city of San Antonio says they will seek full reimbursement from the federal government for those expenses. Meanwhile, the Biden administration using a new enrollment online appointment system for asylum seekers that are already at the border. That system is the only way to find out if those migrants can get an exemption for Title 42. Others must apply before leaving their home countries.
A camera caught part of a man's final moments alive. San Antonio police now investigating Daniel Puentes' death as a homicide. His family says that they believe he was killed over snapping a photo of a vehicle. Now, just a warning, the images in this story are graphic. On Saturday, security video shows the 38-year-old walking near the intersection of O'Connor Road and Independence Avenue. You see him there. His family says that Puente had a limp, but cameras show him staggering there after he was hit.
He was trying to take a selfie in front of this Bronco, and the driver of the Bronco didn't like what he was doing, and he just punched him out the window, and he fell to the ground. Okay. And he got up, is what the eyewitnesses said, and was trying to walk back across the street and fell again.
Now, according to an incident report, an officer said that Puente appeared very intoxicated and may have fallen or been assaulted. But Puente's cousin argues that the hospital found brain bleed, which may explain why he appeared to be intoxicated. He had emergency surgery. He was placed on life support but had to be removed. The medical examiner called Puente's death a homicide because of blunt force injuries. Now, in this case so far, nobody's been arrested.
Tonight, we return to Uvalde and a young changemaker. At just 10 years old, Caitlin Gonzalez has become an activist. She's a survivor of the Robb Elementary shooting, lost her best friend that day. Now, Caitlin tells the night team's Lee Waldman she will not rest until change happens.
There, all done.
Visiting her best friend.
I like this trip. I've never seen this.
At a place where she feels most connected.
We would usually do like a secret Santa.
Just like the constant sleepovers they once had.
On May 24th at our award ceremony, she had told my mom, Miss Gladys, I want to go to your guys' house so we can eat some pancakes again.
Caitlin Gonzalez and Jackie Casares still talk.
I just tell her like what I did today, like the important stuff of my day.
Jackie's replies, only Caitlin can hear in her heart. Their next sleepover never came.
We just kept hearing bangs and bangs and bangs. I heard a scream and it sounded like Jacqueline's, but I didn't think it was Jackie's, so.
Caitlin keeps Jackie close to her, wearing bows in her hair with Jackie's names. The 10-year-old says she's not afraid of using her voice.
I have he earned on the law enforcement that were there that day. Earn your badge and step down. You don't deserve to wear one.
So when people say that you're an activist, what are you an activist for?
Just like for my friends who don't have a voice no more.
For your friends who don't have a voice anymore, what do you want to say for them?
Just they don't deserve to die in vain.
Caitlin is a constant fixture at school board meetings. Her goal is to hold adults accountable. She's also made trips to Washington, D.C. to ask for changes to gun laws.
I'll just tell them to pass the assault weapon ban.
Though these past 7 months have been filled with good days and bad, Caitlin has a support system of survivors from other school shootings.
I met some from Oxford, Sandy Hook, from Parkland, and Columbine, that's a long time ago.
All of them promising the same thing.
We shouldn't let none of the kids or teachers die in vain.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Weather-wise today, not too bad. It was cold this morning, but we had plenty of sunshine and highs pretty seasonable for this time of year in the 60s. Another cold start tomorrow. We're going to wake up to the 30s yet again, but still plenty of sunshine, more highs in the 60s for your Saturday afternoon. Those temperatures warm into Sunday. Only very limited rain chances to talk about heading into next week. We'll have those details coming up in just a few.
Mia, thank you. Still ahead, a local mother lost her limbs after delivering a healthy daughter. The progress that's being made in her treatment and also what's being done to help both her and her daughter. That's coming up.
And let's go to Sky 12. The fireworks going off after tonight's Spurs game to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Spurs coming to San Antonio, appropriately over the Alamo Dome. With the city in the background. Again, 68,323 people showed up tonight. Go Spurs, go. And now for a look at some of today's big headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. This woman now under arrest accused of running over 2 mothers and killing one of them. That's 28-year-old Penny Gomez. She's charged in the murder of Ashley Lopez. It's an update to a story we've followed since Wednesday night. San Antonio police say 2 victims fighting over an argument between their daughters near Angela Walk and South Picoso. That's west of downtown. Gomez accused of actually using her car to run over 2 mothers, killing one of them. The man behind Fiesta Spices, Clifton Bolner, passing away at the age of 94. That company headquartered right here in San Antonio. The products sold across the U.S., though. Bolner began the business 70 years ago. The number of products have grown to 600. Spices imported from 60 countries. Now Bolner's children are set to continue that legacy and help bring a taste of home to kitchens both in and beyond San Antonio. A South Texas community helping a mother who lost her limbs after giving birth. Tomorrow, neighbors in Pleasanton hosting a barbecue plate sale for Christina Pacheco and her family. Doctors found out she had a rare infection called toxic shock syndrome and had to amputate her hands and feet to save her life. Today, Pacheco was scheduled to undergo what is believed to be her final skin graft. Tomorrow's plate sale scheduled for 11 in the morning at St. Andrew's Catholic Church on Market Street in Pleasanton. We have all those details on KSAT.com. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
All right, and now we want to take a live look outside. The sparks still going. Sky 12 giving us a nice view there over the Alamo Dome, and it still looks beautiful out there. It's 10:17 right now. I just wish that actually happened inside of the Alamo Dome, that it matched that, you know?
But I'm telling you, the game, it wasn't great. It wasn't what we were hoping for, but just the environment was awesome. And I'm so glad they're actually doing this too, because this is really a celebration that goes beyond the 68,000 people that were inside the dome.
Yes.
So, let's light up the sky.
Yeah.
So
all about
beautiful.
San Antonio. Yeah.
Yeah, and the weather wasn't too bad at all for the game.
That was very nice.
So that was the good news, too. We had plenty of sunshine today. It is a little chilly out there now, though. But yes, it was just a wonderful way to wrap up the work week. Speaking of which, let's take a look at a photo that one of our awesome KSAT Connect viewers sent in of the sunrise this morning. Speaking of the Tower of Americas, there you go right there with some crepuscular rays out there on the horizon. A beautiful way to kickstart the day. Of course, it was plenty cold out there. We had a low of 36 officially here in town. That's actually below average slightly for this time of year, but a high of 66. So just 3 degrees above the average high, but overall pretty seasonable. Now, because we do still have those clear skies in place tonight, as well as drier air, dew points in the 20s, that with calm winds allowing those temperatures to fall pretty efficiently, sitting at 49 degrees over at San Antonio International. Now, as we keep those conditions in place through the overnight hours, it is going to be another cold start to our Saturday morning. So you definitely needed to bundle up earlier this morning. If you're planning on stepping out early tomorrow, same kind of deal. It's going to be a layering day. We'll start off plenty cold, but it'll be comfortable into the afternoons yet again. Mid to upper 30s here in San Antonio, around 36, I think, officially here in town. 37 in New Braunfels, 37 in Floresville, mainly west of town up into the hill country, some low 30s possible. Also, like this morning, in isolated spots west of Bexar County, a light freeze, not completely out of the question just before the sun comes up. Still plenty of sunshine, though, into the first half of the weekend. It is going to be another beautiful day. Temperatures warming into the mid-50s by 11 a.m. Lunchtime plans, we're sitting around 60 degrees here in town. And then those daytime highs, maybe a degree or two warmer than where we were earlier this afternoon. But overall, fantastic weather. Mid to upper 60s in and around the San Antonio area, about 67 here in town, 68 in Poteet, 68 as well over in Sabinal, and 68 in Bandera up there in Bandera County. Now, for the most part, still dry air in the works for the first half of the weekend. Could get a little breezy in our far western counties, so because of that, probably a good idea to not burn anything. Elevated fire danger conditions in the works again for our western counties tomorrow. But as we see those south winds take back over, more of that humidity is going to work back in for the back half of the weekend. And where I think we could notice that is by Sunday morning. Some areas of patchy fog, not completely out of the question. Slightly warmer in the morning as well. Still a little bit of a chill, but we're in the 40s instead of the 30s. Highs in the 70s. And then heading into our MLK Day on Monday, even warmer. Daytime highs near about 80. That'll be the trend into Tuesday before we see that next weak cool front move in on Wednesday. That helps out temperatures just a little bit and tries to spark a few isolated showers with a slightly better chance of rain just east of San Antonio.
I'm just really honing in on that 20%.
We'll be watching it closely, that's for sure.
All right, Mia, thank you.
All right, let's head back out to the Alamo Dome right now. Greg Simmons was there with me tonight. And Greg, the game, the fans were just so ready to explode. You know, David Robinson comes out, huge ovation. Avery Johnson comes out, huge ovation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't have a lot to cheer about tonight.
No, not after that. But they were here for the spectacle, the moment. And you know what? It lived up for that moment, a historic moment here in the Alamo Dome tonight as the Spurs return home to the Dome. In the process, wish they could have had a victory, but that wasn't the case. In fact, the fireworks show just ended. We've been hearing it inside the Alamo Dome. And when we come back, the Cowboys claim they are confident. Coming up.
Yeah, first time, it's very sweet. I mean, it's massive. I've never played with like this many seats, so it's gonna be really exciting. I know it's gonna be loud, so it's gonna be fun.
All right, how about that? NBA history is made and then some on game day. What a night. Over 68,000 screaming fans. 68,323 to be exact. We're piling into the Alamo Dome to help the Spurs celebrate their 50th anniversary tonight against the same team that helped open the Dome back in 1993, the Golden State Warriors. Wish there had been a better outcome. Spurs off to a slow start, missing their first 6 shots to go down by 13 until Romeo Langford gets hot. Langford gets around the screen and into the lane and finishes with a jumper, the foul. Later, Langford from the far sideline gets into the lane again, puts it up and in, caps off a 9-0 Spurs run. Doug McDermott nails a 3 from the near corner, and the Spurs are only down 5 going into the second. Josh Richardson, the 3 from the wing on the far sideline, keeps the Warriors within 9. But the Warriors lead grows to 14 right here when Steph Curry finds a cutting Draymond Green for the bucket. Spurs down 74-60 at the break. Spurs open up on the third on a little run here. Sohan with a lefty hook in the paint over Draymond. Then Keldon Johnson connects on the 3, and it's a 12-4 Spurs run. They cut the Warriors lead down to 6. Keldon turns up the defense as he intercepts a pass. It goes right to the hoop for the two-handed punch. But the Warriors pile on the points in the third. Time winding down as Anthony Lamb connects from downtown, and the Warriors outscore the Spurs 40-29 in the third. The lead by 25. Trey Jones led the Spurs at 21. Right behind him, Keldon with 17. But Golden State had 8 players in double figures. They roll the Spurs 144-113. More now from our David Sears.
The Warriors to 21. The score they would like to forget. The atmosphere in the Dome tonight, especially those player intros, is something they never will forget.
At first, it felt weird. It didn't feel like there was that many people there. But then once starting lineups hit and everyone had their lights out, that's when it really hit me that there's a lot of people in here.
Different type of crowd, different type of noise out there today. Definitely more like a football feel, but it was crazy.
I loved all of, I don't know what it was, matches or lighters or phones or whatever the hell it was at the beginning of the game. That was great. But the fans enjoyed themselves, even though we're getting our kicked. They seem to be having a hell of a time, so must have been a lot of beer sales out there. I don't know.
Unfortunately, they have to put the fun and excitement of this night behind them. Next up, Sacramento, back in the AT&T Center. David Sears, KSAT 12 Sports.
The Golden State Warriors handled the Spurs as a team. As a result, Curry only had 15 points. Klay Thompson with just 16 because their bench scored a whopping 77 points.
I thought all in all, our guys came out and were very aggressive. We were obviously disappointed with our effort in our previous game against Phoenix, so I figured we'd be a little bit angry and come out with some competitiveness and some juice, and we did that. And so all in all, it was a really good night for us.
All right, next up, the Kings come calling on Sunday at 6 p.m. High school basketball next.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys kick off the playoffs on the Monday Night Football on KSAT 12 when they travel to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. What they don't want is a repeat of last year when they were one and done against the San Francisco 49ers. To add to their challenge, Tom Brady is 7-0, an extensive NFL career against Dallas. And after that lackluster performance against the Washington Commanders, where the Cowboys only rushed for 64 yards in the 26-6 loss, just how confident can this team be going into the postseason?
Definitely confident. We did what we needed to get to this point, and now it's just all about winning these next games one game at a time.
All right, for the first time since Bullet Bob Hayes was able to pull it off, linebacker Micah Parsons has been named first-team All-Pro in his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Teammate Zach Martin named to a 6th first-team selection. Boys basketball tonight. Littleton Gym, 7-0 Brandeis taking on 7-0 Reagan when they lead in District 28, 6A, up for grabs. Second quarter, Luke Mills finishes a nice bounce pass to lay in to put the Rattlers up 23-19. Broncos answer back. Parker Hawes drains a straightaway 3 to pull Brandeis back within 1. The Reagan finds separation late. Luke Price knifes his way to the basket for the layup. Rattlers lead 36-27 at halftime, and they win it 74-67. And big District 29 6A battle up Paul Taylor Fieldhouse. Taft taking on Harlan, about up 5-2 teams. Second quarter, Jaron Hall hits the elbow jumper at 21-17. Hawks lead. For the Raiders rally, Demetrius Mims finds Ramon Flores, and he drives baseline, banks it in to tie the game at 21. Then next possession, Kevin Piedra threads the needle with a great bounce pass to Mims for the reverse, but Harlan comes back to win it 70-60. District 28 5A now. Southwest hosting South San, a battle for O teams. Late second quarter, Dragons force a turnover. Janae Bermudez pushes the pace, finds Trayvon Martin, who just misses the dunk, but still gets it to rattle in. Southwest leads 20-15, but the Bobcats respond. Illusion Saldana gets position on the baseline and puts it up and in. South San wins a close one, 52-50. Great to be a part of history in the Alamo Dome. Live from the Dome, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Quite a night. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back. It's been a great night. Thank you for joining us.